Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Nick here, back with a new video. Today, I'm actually very excited because this is something that I've been doing a lot of research on. I mentioned today on my Twitter that this video is going to be about an hour long. I do apologize for anybody here who does like shorter videos, but I want to really get into depth on why I love Polygon so much and why I think that Polygon, aka Matic, is going to do some crazy moves this alt season as well as in the future, because I believe that this project is future proof if it could do what it's supposed to, as well as kind of beat the competitors out. So with that being said, what exactly is Polygon and what does it really do? So basically what Polygon is it's delivering interoperability and scaling frameworks for building Ethereum compatible blockchains. So we already seen Polygon basically introduce this with most of its partners that it has. Now they don't have a list of partners on here yet. I think that they should 100%. But I know that if we go to their Twitter, now if anybody does follow them, you would definitely know at this point how many partners they do have. Because if you just go to their media, which mainly when they do partner with somebody, they upload, like an image with it's like kind of like a partnership graphic. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, they pretty much have partnership after partnership. Like here we have GeoLancer. We also have good ghosting here. Curve, which some of these I do have listed in some of my project research that we will talk about. But for the most part, like if you want to, now I'm not going to keep scrolling here forever, but they do have some big names here like Opensea as well. Some of these you probably heard of already, but it just keeps going on and on. They pretty much have a partnership almost every single day for the most part, because I mean I get pretty much updates from them all the time. I turned off the notifications because I was just getting spammed with notifications every day about partnerships that they have. But for the most part, incredible adoption so far, and I don't think that it's going to stop there. I think it just continues. Now we will talk more about the competitors like Cosmos and also Polka Dot, and why I believe that Polygon is mostly going to outbeat them in the future, as well as be the superior basically decentralized interoperability framework in this space. So for the most part, it's still using Matic's main components, which is basically the governance, staking, and also like the gas fees sort of, I guess, pros. Now, basically, it just changed its name to Polygon, but also Polygon offers some really cool stuff. Now, of course, you're not going to see this on the screen. This is basically just from knowledge that I gained from pretty much just researching the project itself. But essentially, before the rebrand, Matic was only a layer 2 solution. Now, with Polygon being introduced, it's pretty much onboarding the interoperable blockchain scaling framework that we are seeing now. That's why it has the partnerships that it has. Now, we could read more about this. For the most part, let's kind of dive in here a little bit, and I'll also talk about some more of my project research that I did and pretty much go in depth on some stuff if we do run by it. But for the most part, it's the foundation for the Internet of Value and People. It's also called, if we're really talking about what it's specifically called, is it's basically the Ethereum's Internet of blockchains, and we'll get into that later on. But for the most part, Polygon provides the core components and tools to join the new borderless economy and society. With Polygon, any project can easily spin up a dedicated blockchain network, which combines the best features of a standalone blockchain's sovereignty, scalability, and flexibility in Ethereum, security, interoperability, and developer experience. Additionally, these blockchains are compatible with the existing Ethereum tools, MetaMask, MyCrypto, Remix, etc., and can exchange messages among themselves and with Ethereum. So, yeah, I mean, essentially what the main pain point to Ethereum is it's basically a poor user experience of high speed and delayed transactions. as well as a lack of governance using a sidechain solution. So with Polygon kind of having Ethereum as its key component, they offer some really cool information in terms of actually scaling Ethereum by using like the security, the interoperability, and the developer experience of it, but kind of scaling it through the standalone blockchains that are introduced onto Polygon itself. But for the most part, when Matic first came out, it was just a simple scaling solution, which was using Plasma, which is just like a technology that processes transactions of like off-chain before like finalizing them on Ethereum's main chain. Now, Polygon itself, this is the big key that they needed to rebrand. Polygon itself is designed to be an entire platform for launching interoperable blockchains. Like for an example, like Avi and like MetaMask, MyCrypto, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, through Polygon, devs can actually launch preset blockchain networks with features tailored to their needs, which is very key. But these can also be further customized with a growing range of modules, which also allow devs to create sovereign blockchains with more specific functionality. Now, stuff like that is very key in this game overall, but for the most part, I think that at the end of the day, Polygon is going to beat Cosmos and Polka Dot, and I think that overall they kind of already are, and we'll deeper dive into that on this page alone, but let's kind of just read a little bit more on this while also giving you my idea on it as well. So, Polygon technology is materialized through two major components: Polygon framework and Polygon protocol. The framework, one-click deployment of preset Ethereum-compatible blockchains, growing set of modules, pluggable consensus, staking governance, EVM, EWASM, and execution environments, dispute resolvers, etc. for developers who want to build their custom blockchains. Protocol, arbitrary message passing between any two participating Polygon chains, as well as between any Polygon chain and Ethereum. Security as a service, non-mandatory module security services provided either by Ethereum directly or by a dedicated set of validators. And then also we could see here some Polygon chains. Polygon supports two major types of Ethereum-compatible blockchain networks: standalone networks and networks that leverage security as a service, secured chains. Oh yeah, by the way, I just want to introduce the idea that Polygon itself has very high security, as well as something that other, kind of competitors don't have, which we are actually seeing on the screen right now, which is the implementations of not only one, but two scalable, pretty much, I guess you could say, technologies, which is ZK rollups and optimistic rollups. Those two are for scalability, and we will jump into that in a little bit. But for the most part, those two are very key to why I believe Polygon will outperform Polka Dot and also Cosmos. That doesn't mean in price, just overall in what they are doing. So, secure chains. Blockchain networks that use security as a service instead of establishing their own validator pool. The service can be provided either by Ethereum directly via fraud proofs of validity proofs, or by a pool of professional validators similar to Polka Dot's shared security. Sorry about that. Secured chains offer high level of security with the trade-off of sacrificing a portion of independence and flexibility. Now, these are some of the implementations. Now, these three are not live, and these three are very, very key components. That's why I believe we are still early. I know that we already, if we go to the graph over here, we already seen, some movement already happen here, from down here from like, less than a cent, all the way to like, 54 cents. Now, yeah, that is, that's a pretty big move. But I think that we could still go higher. I think we can go much, much higher overall. So, nonetheless, going back to the screen, standalone chains, basically fully sovereign Ethereum-compatible blockchain networks. These networks are fully in charge of their own security, i.e. have their own pool of validators. Standalone chains offer the highest level of independence and flexibility with the trade-off of sometimes challenging validator pool establishing. Now, as you guys can see here, there is still some coming soon here. Again, I believe we are still a little bit early. So you might be asking yourself, like, how does all this work? And essentially, Polygon itself is a 4-layer system, and we kind of read a little bit about that, but for the most part, it's using an Ethereum layer, a security layer, Polygon network layer, and execution layer. Now, you might be asking yourself, like, what does all this mean? To an average investor, or to just anybody that's kind of new to this project, and they're thinking, hey, should I get into this project when it's at like 35 cents, 36 cents? Am I buying too high? Is it going to $1? Is it already topped out? For the most part, I think that we're still early, like I said. But for the most part, let's read more about this. So Ethereum, the Ethereum layer is a set of smart contracts on Ethereum that handle things like finalizing transactions, staking, and also communications between Ethereum and Polygon chains. Now, I think the real big key component here is that I know that a lot of people said, are you worried about Ethereum 2.0 coming out and basically killing Polygon? No, not at all. Because what Ethereum 2.0 is doing and what Polygon is doing is two different components. And not only that, but I think that Ethereum 2.0 will just make Polygon itself better long term. Just because Ethereum itself lacks a lot. I've worked with Ethereum many times, even using like MetaMask or like just trading it, in general. The gas fees and, the time to actually trade it is just, astronomically terrible. It's just a terrible asset to kind of utilize for what you're trying to utilize it for. What Polygon's utilizing it for is actually very, very cool because, it's essentially just using the security component for it, but also it's just kind of using it to handle like finalizing transactions, which wouldn't utilize its actual speed overall. But it's also using it for staking and communications just between Ethereum compatible chains, which is awesome because it's not using anything from Ethereum that is actually a con of itself. But nonetheless, let's go on to the security layer. So the security layer provides validators as a service, allows chains to benefit from an additional layer of security. Like I said, it's a very secure project. If you have a connection with them and you're basically partnered with them, pretty much your side chain or your blockchain, I should say, that is on the Polygon network is very secure. So pretty much anybody, using it for what it's supposed to be used for is going to be safe. It's not gonna really, be a problem at all. It's actually going to be very secure compared to most. But nonetheless, let's move on a little bit more. So the Polygon network layer is just an ecosystem of blockchain networks, like I mentioned before, built on Polygon. Each has its own community and is responsible for handling local consensus and producing blocks. So you still get that decentralized, sort of aspect, and it's still kind of doing its own thing. Polygon is pretty much just the ecosystem for it. And then you also have the execution layer, which is the Ethereum virtual machine, the EVMs, like I was talking about previously, which is used for executing smart contracts. So it's kind of very, simple base there. Nothing too crazy, and overall, it's nothing to the point where it's nothing too crazy, like I said. But for the most part, it is a 4-layer system that is better, in my opinion, than Polka Dot and also Cosmos. And it's actually down here where we see this. If we go right here, kind of see that. But for the most part, I don't want to get into that right now. I just actually kind of want to talk about the 4-layer system. So here is the 4-layer system. Like I said, the architecture of it. Also, if you look at here, you also have, it kind of lists the messaging, the disputes, the staking, and finality of the Ethereum layer, which is pretty cool. And then you also have the security layer, which is the proof generation, validation, validator management. And then you also have the Polygon networks layer, which is data, order, and consensus, transaction collation. And then the execution layer, of course. And you could read more a little bit about that here. It's kind of pretty much just what I mentioned overall, but we could kind of dive into it a little bit. So the Ethereum layer, Polygon chains can use Ethereum, the most secure programmable blockchain in the world, to host and execute any mission-critical component of their logic. This layer is implemented as a set of Ethereum smart contracts in charge of functions like finality, checkpointing, staking, dispute resolving, and message relaying. Then we also have the security layer, a specialized non-mandatory layer. Again, it's non-mandatory. The chains could decide if they want to use it or not. Managing a set of validators that can periodically check the validity of any Polygon chain for a fee. This layer can be implemented as a meta blockchain that runs in parallel to Ethereum in charge of functions like validator management, registration, deregistration, reward shuffling, etc. Polygon chains validation, as well as security layer is, well, actually not as well, but security layer is fully abstract and can have multiple instances implemented by different entities and with different characteristics. It can also be implemented directly on Ethereum, in which case the Ethereum miners perform the validation. So next we have the Polygon networks layer. So a constellation of sovereign blockchain networks. Each of the networks serves its respective community, maintaining functions like transaction collation, local consensus, blockchain production, or block production. Yeah, it's the same thing. The networks can utilize Polygon protocol to connect with each other and exchange arbitrary messages. This is what I said earlier. Like, basically this network will allow them to pretty much do their own thing and kind of respect the community that it already has and stuff like that. So next we have the execution layer. This layer interprets and executes transactions that are agreed upon and included in Polygon networks blockchains. It consists of two sublayers: execution environment, which is the pluggable virtual machine implementation that we talked about; execution logic, state transition function of a specific Polygon network, normally written as Ethereum smart contracts. And then the security layer is fully abstract and can have multiple instances implemented by different entities and with different characteristics. It can also be implemented directly on Ethereum, in which case the Ethereum miners perform the validation. So essentially, to sum up these layers and kind of give more of an in-depth sort of explanation on chains on Polygon. Basically, the chains that are built on Polygon or even implemented on Polygon are capable of communicating both with one another and with Ethereum's main chain. This enables a variety of use cases such as interoperable decentralized applications, which are dApps. And not only that, but they could also exchange a value between diverse platforms. The reason why Polygon is called the Ethereum's Internet of Blockchains is because it was designed to facilitate a future where diverse blockchains no longer operate as closed-off silos, and actually they are proprietary communities, but instead as networks that actually fit into a broader interconnected landscape. And the end goal overall for Polygon is to enable an open, borderless world in which users can seamlessly interact with decentralized products and services without having to navigate through intermediaries. It also aims to create a hub that different blockchains can easily plug into while overcoming some of their limitations like high fees, poor scalability, and not only that, but also limited security, which we already know from reading this entire sort of section here that Polygon itself is one of the most secure projects out there in the space that is doing what it's doing. Not only that, but it also has incredible scalability, due to most of its partnerships, which we will read more about, in a little bit here. So, I really want to talk about the idea of most of Polygon's competitors. So the big keys here is that we could see that these are conditional and limited, this icon here. Now Polygon offers all of this, which is kind of like the rundown of this section here, but let's talk about the problems with Polka Dot. So first off, Polka Dot is not Ethereum compatible. So with that being said, Polygon's already beating Polka Dot in that space. But not only that, but Cosmos is conditional and limited in that section. Now Quorum is Ethereum compatible, but what they are not is they are not as secure. They're not interoperability, and the developer experience is not there either. Now, with Polka Dot, the scalability is limited, conditional. Sovereignty is conditional and limited as well. Now, Polygon, like I said, is beating Cosmos and Polka Dot, Quorum, shorting, sidechains, all in a certain way that you could actually see here. Now, not only that, but I think that the tech that Polygon offers is also better in my opinion. Now, if you want to read more about their tech, you guys could see it here, but we're going to dive in a little bit here. So, with that being said, proof of stake chain is provided by Matic, which adds a security layer to blockchains. Now, essentially, with that being said, it adds that extra point of security that makes it one of the most secure in this space. And this is live already. But I do want to talk about plasma chains because that is also live. So plasma chains is to assist in scaling as well as moving assets between the root and the child chains via plasma bridges. And like I said, if you click these, like it opens a full doc about what these are and how they work as well. But for the most part, if you really want to do a deep dive in on that, you can. I'm just kind of doing the bare minimum here for you guys. But I'm really interested in what's not live, which is the ZK rollups, the optimistic rollups. Now, these I probably will not talk too much about, but I definitely want to talk about ZK rollups and optimistic rollups because these are huge. So, ZK rollups is an alternative scaling solution. Now, this scaling solution is used to bundle a large number of transfers off-chain into a single transaction using zero-knowledge proofs for the final public record on Ethereum's main chain. Now, this is one of the scaling options on Polygon, and we'll talk about why they have two. So optimistic rollups is also a solution that runs on top of Ethereum to facilitate near instant transactions through the use of fraud proofs. Now these both are both really good scalable options. But not only that, but if we read here, ZK rollups are Ethereum Layer 2 solution based on second validity proofs, aka zero knowledge proofs, that get periodically submitted and verified on Ethereum. Now, if we read optimistic rollups, Ethereum Layer 2 solution based on fraud proofs, i.e. proofs of malicious acts that get submitted and resolved on Ethereum. So it's kind of what I just said, but these you can't really read too much about because they don't have the clickable, option. But it kind of gives us a rundown. And why would they implement one? Why wouldn't they just implement one scaling option? Well, the reason why Polygon implemented more than one scaling option is to keep with its goal of minimizing barriers to entry by attempting to reduce transaction fees to bare minimum, which is its overall goal at the end of the day. Polygon is an open, borderless network. We already know this overall. But for the most part, I really want to talk about that a little bit more. So, by taking a multi-pronged approach to the issue of scaling, Polygon is also hedging its bets should any other scaling fail to accomplish its purpose. So, you might be thinking right now, what's so important about, Polygon itself? Uh, like why should I even be doing a video on this essentially? So the Polygon project is one of the most recent attempts at blockchain interoperability and scaling, and is designed to address some of the limitations of Polka Dot and Cosmos. Like I mentioned, it's gonna most likely beat those two in terms of competition. Uh, some key notes to really take away from just the overall tech that they are offering and their main use case is that it's compatible with Ethereum's virtual machine, which is EVMs, like I said, which makes it approachable to those accustomed to building apps on Ethereum and programming in Solidity. Its rival, Cosmos. Now, again, going back to the technology point here and coming down here to comparing these. So, Cosmos itself uses a WASM-based virtual machine. Polygon's shared security model is entirely optional. Sovereign platforms don't need to sacrifice any independence as well or flexibility for the sake of additional security if it's not needed. It's also flexible enough to incorporate any scalable solution beyond plasma chains, ZK rollups, and optimistic rollups. So, with that being said, um, what Polygon is doing overall is huge for this space. And if we look at Cosmos and Polka Dot in general, there are two great projects. I actually was just talking to a friend the other day. He wanted to know, like should he get into Polka Dot or should he get into Cosmos because he's seen Cosmos having APY on Coinbase. I said just get into Polygon and thank me later, because I think overall at the end of the day Polygon will beat Cosmos and Polka Dot in the race, and I'll get into that a little bit more here as well. But for the most part, if we look at Cosmos in general, Cosmos was trading this year. It hit $28.50. Now, comparing Cosmos and Polka Dot to Polygon in terms of price point would just not make sense because of the circulating supply. Polygon does have, and we could actually go look at this real quick. Polygon does have a circulating supply of about almost 2 billion. Now, the max supply and the total supply is 10 billion, but if Matic was supposed to be at a $30 evaluation in terms of just using the actual circulating supply, that would roughly put it at a price point of about 155.6 billion market cap, which I don't think that it's going to go there. Now, could it go to $10 for say? I think that $10 is possible. I think that, a $50 billion market cap is really nothing if we think about the overall end goal market cap for the total, crypto market, which I believe to be about $5 to $7 trillion, which is conservative in my opinion. But for the most part, I really want to talk about the idea that not only do we have the idea of it getting to Cosmos prices, but we also have the idea of Polka Dot as well, because Polka Dot is actually beating not only Polygon but also Cosmos in price point, because Polka Dot almost hit $50, in which right now it's trading at about I think like $30 the last time I seen it, and the circulating supply is a little bit under $1 billion. So it almost hit the $50 billion market cap area. And like I said, like with Polygon essentially doing what Cosmos and, Polka Dot have been doing for a very long time now. Now, again, they all have their own pros and cons. And not only that, but Polka Dot and Cosmos actually don't have a few things live that I will discuss here in a little bit. But not only that, but Polygon also offers like a utility aspect to it in terms of what it's actually being utilized for. Um, Now it doesn't mean that Cosmos and Polka Dot don't either, because they definitely do. But for the most part, if we're comparing price point average, $50 billion market cap for Polygon is nothing too crazy. It being traded at $10 is pretty conservative in my opinion. Um, but if Polygon could beat Cosmos and also Polka Dot to be fully live, I think that's huge. I think it's going to be major for the price as well. But I do want to talk about a few partners that Polygon does have. Now, I'm not going to scroll through here and find them, but we could talk about some current ones as well. But for the most part, they are partnered with EasyFi. Now, just to do a quick rundown of that, it's basically a decentralized borrowing and lending platform with support for under-collateralized loans. And then they're also partnered with Avidachi, which is a DeFi trading game centered around NFTs. So they're really, they have a ton of partners. It's already widely adopted. They are also partnered with, I think we could find it here actually. Yeah, Umbrella, which is the UMB network. And we could actually read it here. So this actually allows Polygon devs to tap into a broader spectrum of crypto data, such as price feed, contract, third-party data, and also other off-chain data feeds. And then we also have the Gelato network, which allows Polygon's DeFi powerhouses to utilize automation for smart contract executions for its users. And it also just partnered with Curve, which brings deep liquidity to stablecoins on Polygon and also brings rewards to the Avi pools on Curve as well. Now, Matic itself, which is basically just kind of Polygon, if it continues to use the same utility token of Matic, which is also used by all of these partners basically, it's used for many purposes as well, including participating in network governance by voting on Polygon as well. Improvement proposals, which is basically the PIPs, which is Polygon improvement proposals, like I said, contributing to security through staking as well, and then also paying gas fees too, which the paying gas fees sort of aspect, that adds to the point of, contributing to security. But for the most part, I think at the end of the day, it does offer better security than Polka Dot just because of the Ethereum compatibility that Polygon does have. Not only that, but it also has the developer experience. It's just, in my opinion, it could easily compete with Polka Dot and Cosmos, definitely, 100%. But the future could be very bright for Polygon, granted they launch ZK rollups and or optimistic rollups before Polka Dot's public parachains or Cosmos's IBC transactions are enabled. Because at this point, it's a race against which first interoperability solution will go fully live, like I said. And, at the end of the day, you guys could do a deeper dive into this, but I think that a $10 evaluation, even from its current, price, like if we look at this and we do, a percentage guess here, so we'll do from here to $10 flat. It's basically less than about a 2,500% increase in price, which is really nothing, especially during a bull market, which I think that we still are in. I know a lot of people are still kind of worried and scared about it, but for the most part, Polygon itself is going to be a major hold for me. It's going to be something that I hold for a very long time just because of what I went over. I mean, the technology aspects there, you guys could read their white paper. They're fully transparent on it. Um, you could also read their technology as well. You know, they list pretty much everything here. Like I said, they also have a full team behind them that is, like I said, I love when they actually have a full team and they're transparent about everything. But this project is not new. It's not brand new. It's been around for a little bit of time, but for the most part, like some of these names that they have, it's incredible. Um, but again, uh, they are going to be one of those projects that I do hold for a very long time because they do have the solutions. Like if we read some of these, this is the proof of stake bridge, which, like I said, is incredible. Um, you guys could also read more about that if you want. I'm not going to go too in depth. I know that I said that this was going to be about an hour long video, but I didn't want to. I wanted to give that sort of evaluation out a little bit earlier, just to get the people that aren't too patient on terms of like learning about a project out of here before we actually really talk about the key components. But yeah, if you guys want, you could read the white paper on Matic. You could read the Polygon light paper, developer docs as well. They're fully transparent on everything. I know that one of these has a problem loading, which I think is the Polygon light paper right now. But for the most part, this is the Matic network white paper that you guys could actually read about. Like I said, it's not a brand new project. This is about a 3-year-old project overall. And they just made the switch to Polygon just recently. And it's going to be one of those projects that if they can really get to the point of going fully live, which if we look here, they are getting there. They just really need to get the shared security chains, Matic POS, Plasma chains, which that's already live. Like these are actually already live. They just need to implement them all together. Now the only ones that aren't really live is, like I said, the optimistic rollups, ZK rollups, standalone side chains, and the enterprise chains. I think most of the other stuff is already live. Like I said, I don't know. I think we go to the solutions tab, or I think it might be in the tech tab. Or I don't know where I've seen it before. I know that you could see it on one of the pages. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. Oh yeah, so I mean, basically you can see here. So ZK rollups, optimistic rollups, Validum chains, their side chains and enterprise chains, they're all coming soon. Now, like I said, some of the key components are kind of already there from Matic, because like this is the Matic Plasma bridge, Matic proof of stake chains. Those are already implemented just from Matic itself. Like I said, I don't think that we've seen the full potential of Polygon yet. I really don't think we have. And I think once the ZK rollups and the optimistic rollups, which allows the scalability as well as the staking aspect of it to be implemented, I think that's going to be very, very big. I believe that you can actually already stake it. I just didn't really look into it too much. But for the most part, once those are implemented, I think it's going to be end game, because I think after that, it's kind of just easy stuff to implement. But I think that we could win the race to a fully live, interoperable, network that will outbeat Polka Dot and Cosmos long term. Now, it's not saying, hey, Cosmos and Polka Dot are bad holds, because I do hold all 3 of these. I just think that Polygon itself is going to outperform overall and percentage-wise. And it's still fairly cheap. We are trading at about 35.5 cents. We did get a nice little buy-in the other day. I will tell you that I bought the dip 100% on Matic. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't go lower. It's just I decided, hey, it's a good time to buy. So I bought here at around 28 cents. My average buy-in, if we're going back to here, would be about 15 to 30 cents overall. And I would even buy it at 50 cents, just because I do believe in the project itself. It's a great project. It's great what the team's doing. The technology is there. The partnerships are there. The full name team's there. And like I said, I can guarantee you that, this week coming up, they list another few partners that they have because that's just how crazy it is. Like if we look here, this is April 23rd partnership, April 23rd partnership, 22nd partnership, 22nd partnership, another partnership on the 22nd, and it's just they have a great social, you know, engagement rate. They're great on social. They're always answering questions. They're always there. I love that. They're ever growing. They almost have 200K followers. This is a project that you're gonna want to watch. It's a little old. It's kind of timed, but for the most part, they're still right now. It's still a good buy. I think that overall, like right where we are, it's just the beginning. I think that this goes much higher in the future. I think it will probably reach, $1 to $10 in this bull run. Now, it's not saying, hey, we're going to $10 100%. Just, hey, $10 is like the end game, in my opinion. I think that it could easily reach $10. Now, if you wanted a more conservative, more safer bet, I would say, anywhere between $2 to $5 would be a good, exit strategy if you wanted to exit at that point. But exit when you feel safe and comfortable. At that point, just always have an exit strategy before you have an entry strategy. But yeah, for the most part, I think that Polygon is going to be a major hold. I think it's a giant of a hold. As a matter of fact, I think that's going to deliver, everything that it offers, and I think it's going to deliver even more. And I think that it is going to win the race. Now, again, I can't guarantee that. I'm not going to say, hey, they're definitely going to win the race or anything like that. I just think that, overall, they have a great team behind them. They already have great implementations. They already have amazing adoption. I don't see a problem at all, buying more of this at 35 cents, 40 cents. But hey, I think that we're still early. That's my opinion on it. Nonetheless, guys, this has been my Matic video for you guys. I will probably have a district video coming very soon. I want to do some more, kind of deep dive research on the project and really get you guys the details that we've been all waiting for. There's been some news dropping here and there, but for the most part, I do hope that you all enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit longer than most, but hey, I really want to get you guys all the information that you guys need to really get into something that is a really good buy, that has the tech, has the team, and it's a reputable company as well as a full team. So with that being said, guys, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Thank you all for the support. We are growing at incredible numbers. It's insane, and I really love all of you guys to death. I hope that you all make life-changing gains this bull run. And with that being said, guys, I will talk to you all in the next video. Nonetheless, I hope they all have an amazing day and an amazing night, no matter where you are. And yeah, this has been Nick. Peace out.